Well, hello everybody. Thanks for joining. And I'm Kathy Barron, if you don't know yet, founder and editor-in-chief of Women Who Podcast magazine. Thanks for joining. If you haven't already, go get your copy of the January issue of Women Who Podcast magazine on our website at womenwhopodcastmag.com. We also have like a blog area of featured articles, so it's the full article that you can read, and I try to mix it up so it's resources that anybody can read and get in touch with. I'm just going to do some waving here quickly. Welcome everybody. I think this is Jen's cult following that has joined so far. Welcome. So for the month of February, I'll be having these IG chats with featured podcasters and contributing writers from the January issue of the magazine. So you can kind of get to meet them and learn a little bit more about them beyond the article that was written about them. So without further ado, I'm going to invite Jennifer Lynn, who's the host of At This Performance podcast. And like I said, her cult following has arrived already. And let's see. Like me today or not?
Hi. Oh, I can't hear. Hold on. Now I can hear you. There we go.
Okay. I'm on my phone, so I just got like a spam phone call. So I think
Oh,
that
that's right.
that was interrupting our IG live. But welcome.
Thank you.
As I was saying, I don't know if you heard or not, but I see that your cult following is in the house.
Yep.
So thanks to everyone for
Good
joining.
job, guys. Good job, guys.
Yeah. I'm sure I'm sure you bribed, right? You bribed them
Yeah.
all to
Yeah.
join.
I had to Venmo a few people before we started, so.
Okay, good. Good. Take care of that beforehand. Um, well, I'm really excited to have you here, and there are so many questions that I have. And before we joined, we kind of spoke a little bit before, and we were just saying that you live in New York, and I'm from New York State, and I can't, I don't have the street cred that you have, but so we're both New Yorkers, and I bring that up because there's an essence and a vibe with New Yorkers, and all your friends are asking for their money, by the way.
I know. What did you guys not get it? That's so weird. We'll chat about that
Checks,
after. Yeah,
checks in the mail,
exactly.
checks in the mail. Um, so, so I feel like we have this like kindred spirit in a bit because
Hmm.
because we're both from New York, the state, even though you have street cred for the city. I think I went there once when I was in seventh grade. We went on this like field trip to some like preserve or something. I probably blocked it out because it was so traumatic. But we did go into the city, and I actually ran into or saw Robbie Benson. Are you familiar who Robbie Benson
Hmm.
is?
Hmm.
Okay, so he was at like the Museum of History or whatever it was. So that was like my first, celebrity sighting.
Hmm.
Um, but anyway, we'll move on. Let's talk about you.
Okay.
Tell me how At This Performance podcast was born. Like,
So it
did
was
you just wake up one day and say, "Hey, I'm gonna have a podcast"?
no, not at all. I never intended to have a podcast actually. So during the pandemic, I got involved with a radio station called No More Games Radio and started live DJing. We're a bunch of amateur DJs and we get together, play music, and I started a little tiny interview series which never really kind of took off for me there. I wasn't really quite sure if I wanted to do it, so I stopped. And then my friend Michelle had a podcast with her friend, just like pop culture. I think it's called Pop Culture Junkies. And I was like, "How did you do a podcast?" And she's like, "Oh, it was really simple. I just do this, this, and this." And I was like, "Okay, I could do that." And At This Performance Podcast was born. I just contacted a bunch of my actor friends, and I was like, "Do you want to talk with me?"
Nice. It's good to have people
But
like that.
yeah,
And you're in Broadway, like you eat, live, sleep Broadway. And
yeah.
how did that happen? Like, how did you get so involved in the Broadway scene?
When I was little, my grandmother used to take me to Broadway shows. My first Broadway show ever was Cats, the original Cats.
Mm.
And yeah, and I was good, and she kept taking me to shows, and then my mom would take me to shows, and I go with my wife now, I go with my friends. So it's just always been something that's been a part of my life. And from going to the shows, I befriended some ushers, and I was like, how can I work here? Like, can I just you can get paid to watch Broadway shows. This is amazing. And I asked, filled out an application. They called me, and here I am,
So
handing
obviously
out.
you're a good employee.
Yeah,
Because how long have you been ushering?
over 10 years. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I'm sure you've seen a
Hmm.
lot, and we'll get to that. I do
Yeah.
have a question about that. But I want to know what your favorite Broadway show is, if you can tell me that. I don't know if that's like, sacrilegious to do that.
Yeah. It's a very short-lived Broadway show. But most people were like, when did that happen? But actually, it's actually become very popular after it closed, and it's Bonnie and Clyde.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So is it mostly
It's a music.
musicals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. I mean, there are a few plays that I've liked. I mean, there are a lot of Broadway shows that I've liked over the years. I just have the unfortunate experience that when I like a Broadway show, it doesn't last so long. I don't know why. It must be like some sort of last like 2 months, 10 months, whatever. It's like okay, so
So what depends on their length of run?
it's
Is it funding or how
it's hard
popular it is?
it's hard to tell. It's really hard to tell. I mean, yeah, but if you don't have the funding for your Broadway show, you will close. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I think theater location actually does depend as well. You know, some theaters are a little off the beaten path, so people may not know where they are, as some
Mhm.
of the theaters that are directly in your face. So there's a lot of
Right.
different factors,
Yeah.
and of course, as celebrities in the show, people are gonna
Well,
flock
we're
to that.
definitely going to go to that. Yeah, for sure. I remember going to Annie on Broadway when I was younger. Um, and I just loved that. And then in high school, I wasn't in drama because I'm not good with acting. Like I can't pretend very well. So that wasn't my thing. But my older sister was in drama club, and they did like Guys and Dolls, which was really cool. I love the musical part
Hmm.
of the play. My mom, who lives near Santa Barbara, California, she they have a local like performance arts, um, and every time I go down there to see her, I try to like buy tickets because she loves going, and it's a pretty small venue. And the last one we went to was Elf
Hmm.
because they did an Elf
Yeah,
for Christmas, so
yeah.
that was great.
I love the
Um,
smaller venues. I love smaller venues, especially when we go because we do regional shows as well. And a smaller venue just is more intimate to me, and I love that feeling rather than a bigger. I mean, because like seeing shows at like Carnegie Hall, concerts at Carnegie Hall, and it's so big, and it's great. But when you're actually closer
yeah,
up, and there's not
yeah,
like a lot of
that
people.
more intimate, yeah. And the set
Hmm.
designs they have are like professional, and the acting is great, and it's amazing to be able to support a small. I think it's attached to the college that's there, so
Hmm.
they have like understudies and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Um, but it is kind of cool to be part of that. So let's talk about your job as an usher. And um, what part of the job do you like the most besides, well, the obvious of actually seeing the shows?
I love when there is, and why my podcast is called At This Performance is because I love when there's an understudy on. It makes the show, especially the show that you've seen
Mm,
over and over and over and over again, interesting. You're like, oh, there's a new person on. So it's going to be interesting, to see, from what we can watch of the show. Where our job is to watch the audience,
right.
but we do kind of like glance. Okay, nobody has their phone. Oh, cool! I love the song.
Oh, right. And Black Widow XX is saying, yeah, all of
Yes.
her coworkers too.
Uh-huh. Exactly. Thanks, Lauren.
I mean, that makes the whole thing worthwhile going to work, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. We have fun. Honestly, at my theater, we have so much fun. We're all, very close. At We've been working together for so long, and we hang out like outside of work. So, my particular, I can't speak for every theater, but every
Right.
theater has their own little family or whatever, but we are very tight
Yeah.
knit.
So do you feel like the Broadway fans kind of culture is kind of like a cult of some sort?
With some shows, yes.
Yeah.
There are some shows that have like this cult following that, they are very dedicated to their show, which is great. A lot of shows, there are some shows that will need that for, publicity, for, anything. But I mean, you have to be, I feel like every show needs it though,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
because if you don't have the fans for the show, then, you know,
Yeah. Yeah. Arthur, Christina, she kind of came in late. But yeah, Bonnie and
yeah,
Clyde, Jen mentioned that as one of her
yeah,
favorites or her favorite. And I noticed on your Instagram, you have Shucked a lot.
yes.
Tell me about that show and why you're so obsessed with it.
So that didn't last very long. It just closed in January. Boo.
Uh,
Yeah. So that came, one of our friends, me and my wife, we know this actor. His name is Kevin Cahoon. And my wife has known him a lot longer. He's done so many shows. He had a 16-year absence from Broadway, and he just came back and he did Shucked. So it was a show about corn, to put it simply. It's a show about
yeah.
corn.
Yeah.
And we went to go see him. We ended up loving the show. It was so funny, and it was a very much needed show. It was just 2 hours of, happiness and silliness, just to get like you out of like, like your normal day to day. So we
Hmm.
would go and see that show because we are repeat attenders. I've seen shows upwards of 20 plus more times.
Wow.
So yeah.
So you
So I will go see a show if
definitely,
I
so you
like it.
definitely don't get
No,
bored with that then.
definitely no, definitely not.
Okay. But how does it, like, if you've seen a show and you'd mentioned like an understudy comes in, which means it's a different person playing that same part, like, how does that, like, I don't know. I feel like that would kind of like skew your,
Well, no, because if it's a show that you know really, really well, you're like, oh, there's a different take on this part. You may or may not like it. That's up to
okay.
you. That's up to you. But I've always enjoyed like every understudy that I've seen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
I guess it definitely brings a different
it does.
dynamic sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you, as an usher, deal with unruly New Yorkers? Because, I know that they can be pretty hard to deal with their attitudes and everything. Takes one to know
Smile,
one.
smile and nod.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
That's a great customer service. Yeah, I was in grocery for 16 years, so I
Right.
know about customer service and how you're just like, okay, you're thinking you're a crazy ass bitch, but yeah, whatever you want, whatever
Yeah.
you want.
Yeah. We're pretty good at my theater. No, just like, send them like ticket issue, you go to the box office, and my manager's really great about calling, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Have you had to like kick anybody out?
Personally, no. But there have been situations where there've been maybe like a few drunk patrons, and we have to be like, "So, hey, security, can you help us out?"
Yeah, that's good
Yeah.
that you have security to help you out. Is there any like, because I'm sure you're watching the audience and you're watching the show, but have there been any moments where you like look at a audience member and it just kind of like lights you up just because of how they're enjoying the show or how they're reacting
Oh
to
yeah.
the show?
Oh yeah. Recently, we had a younger audience member came. It was their sixth birthday. I happened to be working at six that day, which was pretty funny. So uh, the parents took their kid to six for their sixth birthday and was dressed up all nice and was sitting in like the second row and was just so excited to be there. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was so funny. And I also worked at Sweeney Todd, and this this one girl was so happy to be there because she had liked the actress that played Mrs. Lovett, and she was just like over the like kind of like oh my god, like shaking in her seat, and that's always so excited to see because there are shows when I go to and I'm excited to see a certain performer
Mm-hmm.
or a certain show for just the content of the show or like I said an actor. So I know that feeling. So it's always pretty like not funny but kind of like okay, I do that too
Yeah,
even though like I'm not doing it right now.
right. Yeah. Are you able to like the 6-year-old, are you able to like take them to the backstage and have them meet any of the
No,
actors?
we're not.
No.
No, yeah, no. We tell them, get go out stage door. So
Yeah.
yeah, we can't do anything like that.
That's too bad because that would be kind of
Yeah.
cool to do.
Yeah. Because that I would be the usher that would do that. I'd be like, I can do that.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I volunteer. Yeah, that's cool. So how is it to always have this exposure to Broadway actors, whether they're big time or
Yeah.
not?
It's a lot of fun. You learn a lot about people and how they've gone through their process of all the shows that they've been in, all the other stuff that they've done, what they've done to get where they are, how some people are like, I didn't discover acting till college, or I've been doing this since I'm 5 years old.
Hmm.
So just they're all individual stories and even like the funny things that have happened to them either on stage or with a fan or anything really. There's always a funny story to be told and there's always an inspiring story to be told.
Yeah, yeah. So do you ever see yourself being on stage?
Oh no way. No.
You leave that to the experts.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sit in the seat. I will be there. I will cheer you on. I will stand up. I will cheer for you. I will give you the standing ovation. But as far as being on that stage, that's not happening.
Okay, so you're an usher, it's dark. Like, how do you like find yourself in dark all the time? Trying like, do you have like a little flashlight
Yeah,
that you can like, so you don't make sure you have like a workers' comp claim every
yeah,
night?
exactly. Yeah, we have yeah we have flashlights, and once you've been in, so like you've been to all the different theaters,
Mm,
you learn where the steps
yeah,
are, where you can step or whatever. Like, oh, there's a dip here, so especially if you worked in a theater for quite some time and you keep working in the same theaters like I do. And if you go to a new theater, you're like, okay, so I don't know exactly where I'm supposed to be
right,
going. But usually
right.
everybody's really helpful.
Good, good, good. So, what episode of your podcast is like has been the most impactful for you?
I mean,
Don't
I guess all of them
say
really.
all. Don't say
All of
all.
them,
That's
all
a
of them.
cop
No, all
out.
of them. I learn something new every
Yeah,
single time. Like
yeah,
when I even people that I've known for years, and they'll say something. I'm like, really? Okay. Yeah,
yeah. So you kind of keep that surprise element.
yeah.
Yeah,
I try to.
yeah. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to
Of
hang out
course.
with me today. And I thank all of your fans for being here.
I will have to say this is the largest audience I've had for an IG live, so you guys can congratulate yourselves, pat yourselves on the back for that. And I think it's amazing that you have such an awesome friend support group, and that the theater people definitely stick together.
We definitely do.
So, any final words? And where can people find you?
So you can find me on Instagram at This Performance Podcast. You could also go to at thisperformancepodcast.com. I have all my episodes up there. You can reach me there. You can leave a review and tell me how wonderful my podcast is there.
Yes,
And yeah,
definitely do
yeah,
that.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
So that's where you find me.
so yes, Jen, you are awesome, and everyone is so proud of you. Do you have one tip for people that are going to go see a Broadway show? Like, what's one tip that you would give people?
Go and enjoy it, but behave and be nice to your usher.
Good. And we'll end it with that. Be nice to the ushers because they will kick you out.
We will call security.
That's right. They're not afraid.
No, we're not. We've seen it all.
Yeah, I bet. Well, I think you should write a memoir of Behind the Curtain or something,
Oh my
or
gosh. Yeah. That would be a very, very, very long memoir. Volume 1 through 30.
right. Well, thanks again, Jen, and have a great day.
You
And
too. Thank you.
this will be saved on our IG account, and definitely share it. And ushers are amazing, especially Jennifer.
Hmm.
That's right. Put your
And I see
phones
Zelita said,
away.
that's, thank you, Zelita. Put your phones away.
That's in every aspect of
Yeah.
life, I think.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, we'll have to come back and talk more about
Yeah.
the what you see, what you see in the theater in the
Stay,
dark.
stay tuned for an upcoming episode. We're working on one of those.
Oh, good. Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, you take care. Thanks
All
everyone
right.
for joining
Thank
us,
you.
and we'll
Bye.
see you on the gram. Bye bye.
Bye.